So in 4.4, remember our goals were to interpret scatter plots. We already looked at that. To be able to identify correlations between data sets. Is it a positive correlation, a negative correlation, or is there no correlation? We already looked at that. And then if there is a positive or negative correlation, we still want to take a look at this last idea of using lines of fit to model data. So if we take a look at example 3. So if we take a look at using lines of fit to model data, it says when a data set or when data show a positive or negative correlation, you can use a trend in the data using a line of fit. A line of fit is a line drawn on a scatter plot that is close to most of the data points. Right? So our steps for using a line of fit is to first make a scatter plot. Second, we have to decide whether the data can be modeled by a line. Right? So is there a correlation? Third is to draw in a line that appears to fit the data closely. There should be approximately as many points above the line as below it, right? So there's not necessarily one right answer, right? There are definitely wrong answers. Okay? There are things that don't make good lines of fit. But there's not necessarily one right answer. Okay? We'll practice this more yet tomorrow. And step 4 is to write the equation of the line that we drew. Right? We already know how to write the equation of a line as long as we can pick 2 points that are on that line. The points do not have to be actual data pairs, but they have to be on the line that we drew. So if we go through those 4 steps using an example. In example 3, it says the table shows the weekly sales of a DVD and the number of weeks since its release. Write an equation that models the DVD sales as a function of the number of weeks since its release. Interpret the slope and y-intercept of the line of fit. So we have 2 jobs this time. First, we want to be able to write an equation that models the DVD sales as a function of the number of weeks since its release. And second, we need to interpret the slope and y-intercept of the line. Interpret actually means explain the meaning of. Okay. So first step, if we look above at those steps, is to make a scatter plot. Right, so I need to plot all those points on a line. I think I'm going to go by ones on my x-axis. Right, so 0, 1, 2. Maybe I'm only going to label every other line, 4, 6, 8, and 10. But I'm going by ones along my x-axis. Right. And, if I need to get from the lowest was 5 and the highest was 19, I need to get up to 20. As long as I have 10 lines, going by 2 looks good. So I'm going to go by 2s, but I'm only going to label every other. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. I also want to make sure I label my x and y axis. So my x-axis was the number of weeks after release, and the y-axis was the sales in millions. So again, if you take the time to plot all those points for me, so pause the video and plot those points on our graph. So then I went ahead and plotted those points. The next step after we plot the points is decide, can that data be modeled by a line? Right? Does it seem like it's linear data? Is there a correlation? Yep, we decided there's a negative correlation, right? And even more, I drew in my line of fit already. Notice there are 1, 2, 3 points above the line and 3 points below the line. And I picked 2 points that were on that line. The 2 points that I picked that were on that line were the points 5, 10 and 6, 8. So I want to be able to write the equation of a line through those 2 points. My first job is to find the slope. Right, I can do that right here on my table. I went up 2 and over 1, so my slope was 2 over 1 is just 2, and I picked one of those points as an x1 and a y1, so I went with a point 5, 10 to use as my x1 and y1. then I need to write the equation of the line with a slope of 2 that goes through that point. So I use the letter y. The opposite of y1 would be minus 10. M is 2 times, in parentheses, the letter x, and the opposite of my x1 is minus 5. If I distribute, I get 2x minus 10. And finally, add 10 to both sides. Wait a minute. I knew something was wrong there, because that doesn't make sense, right? That's exactly what we want to take a look at, right? So I did that on purpose just so we could talk about it. Make sure you double check your work, right? If I know that my slope or my correlation was negative, right, my slope should have been negative also, right? So if I erase that 2 and change it to a negative 2, right, negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2 for my slope. And negative 2, when I distribute, gives me plus 10. And I end up with the equation y equals negative 2x plus 20. So we wrote an equation that would model DVD sales. That was our first job. So we're done with our first job. Now we're on to answering the second part. How do I interpret the slope and y-intercept of that line of fit? Right, well, what is my slope and what is my y-intercept? Right, in order to interpret them, I need to find out what they are. Right, the slope is negative 2, and the y-intercept is 20. Does that match what it looks like on the graph? Right, always go back and double check that. Okay. So it does. So now how do I answer that question? What does the negative 2 stand for? The negative 2 is the change in sales per week, right? Because that's what the negative 2 was how much the sales changed. And then the plus 1 was each 1 week. So that means DVD sales go down 2 million each week. So I'm going to write the slope is negative 2, which means... So we say the slope is negative 2, which means DVD sales go down 2 million each week after release. The negative is the word down, right? And then the y-intercept. Well, I would have to say the y-intercept is 20, which means, but what does it mean? Right? Like at week 0, did they sell any DVDs before they released the DVD? Like, it would be like the starting amount in theory, but in this actual situation, that doesn't really mean anything because we haven't sold any DVDs yet. So they didn't really ever sell $20 million in DVDs, right? That's kind of like if we could go back in time, that's what they would have done, or that would have been like the projection, right? But we'd say this time it has no real meaning because we didn't sell any DVDs week 0 in reality. So really that's just showing us that a lot of times the number we get, right, has theoretical meaning, like it gave us that number in the equation, or in theory this is what would have happened in the past if that existed, right, but it doesn't really have meaning in a situation. So we just have to analyze and think about what stuff really means. Right? So see if you could pause the video and to try to make a trend line for the example in number 5. So if we look at the you try in number 5, right, so again, hopefully you tried this. Right? What I did is I decided to make a break in my graph, okay, so I didn't have to go or start at 0. And then I started at 1,500. So after my break, right, I started at 1,500 and I went by 100s. So 1,700 was, 2 lines over. And then 1,900. Right, and I continued labeling that way. I also decided to make a break along my y-axis, right, so that I didn't have to start at 0, and I started at 280, and I went by 20s. You were stuck on how to scale your graph. There's a start for you, so finish that, plot your points, and then, so pause the video, and then take a look at what I came up with for an answer. Remember, when we write a line of fit, right, it's just an approximation of the data. So when I looked at that line, I had 1 point below and 2 points above the line I drew. I chose to go through these 2 data points. If you would have picked 2 different points on that line, you might have gotten an equation that was a little bit different. But your m should have still been positive, and your y-intercept should have been somewhere between, like, I don't know, 50 and negative 50, right? But probably close to 0, between 0 and negative 20. So if I wrote my equation based on those 2 points I picked, right, this is the equation that I came up with. So what did the slope and the y-intercept mean, right? So the slope of negative 2 means, or of 0.2, excuse me, means the car payment goes up 20 cents for each $1 increase in monthly income, right? Or maybe I could have said the car payment goes up $2 for each $10 increase in income, or maybe even $20 for each $100 increase in income. Right? So any of those ideas would have been okay for explaining what the slope means. The y-intercept of negative 20, right? It has no real meaning in this context or in this situation, since a person who's without any income, right? If they don't have any income, they can't have a negative car payment, right? They could have a car payment of 0, right? But the negative 20 probably isn't realistic, right? So that's why we said it has no real meaning in this situation. But we want to explain why. So I really make sure we understand why that doesn't make sense for this problem. Okay? Now, if you would have gotten 0, maybe that does make sense, right? For your y-intercept, maybe it makes sense to say somebody without any income would have no car payment, right? Because they wouldn't be able to afford a car. So something along those lines. Make sure you're jotting down any questions you have to ask in class tomorrow. And then go ahead and try those practice problems. Is it going to be perfect? No. No, it's okay if you're really still confused. Right? Do your best on them. Work quietly the rest of the block. Right? Just do your best, and we'll clear everything up and talk about it more tomorrow. Right? So I don't expect you to have mastered this yet. Right? But do your best. Try those practice problems. Please work quietly and help each other out quietly. Again, whispers if you need to.